Hello, so today we're going to do Unit 2, Day 2 notes, which is basically reviewing whether a table, a bubble chart, a graph, or a set of order pairs are a function or not a function. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with number 1. As you can tell, there's a set of order pairs, and I need to determine whether it's a function or not. Well, of course, you should know that to determine if something's a function, it has to have all of the x's have to be different. So all of the x's have to be different. Okay? So now, if we're looking at number 1, if you're looking at the x values, you can tell that it's not different. One of them overlaps. Now, I would highly recommend that you take this order pair and convert it into a table to help you out, okay? So the first one is 3, 2. The next one is 1, negative 1. The next one is 2, negative 4. 3, negative 9. And then the last one is 4, negative 16. That way, I can be able to see everything clearly. Now, looking at the x value column, are all my x's different? Nope, they're not different because the 3's repeat. As soon as one number repeats, it will be considered not a function. Okay, that's not functional. Okay, number 2. Same idea, highly recommend you change it into a table. It doesn't take you that long. First order pair is negative 10, 0. Next, negative 3, 0. Next point, negative 1, negative 1. 0, 0, 1, 1. If you notice, all my x's are different. So, this is a function. Now, number 3, when you have a bubble chart, for it to be a function, basically every single number on the first bubble has to have one line coming from it. Okay? Now, as soon as a number has 2 lines coming from it, it will be considered not a function. But if you're having trouble seeing that, you could always convert this bubble chart into a table. And let's try that and see. Okay, so negative 2 goes to 1. 1 goes to 2. 3 goes to 3. 4.5 goes to 4. And 4.5 goes to 5. And as you can tell, this is not a function because if you look down the x column, the 4.5s repeat. And I told you that on a bubble chart, if you have 2 lines coming from one number, that will automatically means that it's repeating, that there's 2 sets of that number, which means it's not a function. Okay, next example, if you notice, same idea, you will automatically be able to see that the 0 repeats right there because there's 2 lines coming from a number in the input. But if you wanted to check, you could always draw yourself a table. And remember, the x is represented by input and the y is the output. So now, start with 0. 0 to negative 2. 0 to 1. 1 to 2. 2 to 1. 3 to 4. Now, if you notice, it repeats at 0 and remember, for it to be a function, all of the x's have to be completely different. As soon as one of them repeats, it's not a function. Okay? Now, moving on, you go ahead and take a moment to do number 5 and number 6 by yourself. So pause the video. Okay? So number 5 will be not a function because 15 repeats twice. There's 2 lines coming from the 15. Now number 6 will be considered a function because only one line is coming from each number on the first bubble. Okay, moving on. Now for the graph, we are going to be using the vertical line test, or also known as the vertical pencil test. Now, the purpose of the pencil test is if your pencil and the graph itself intersect or touch more than once, it's automatically not a function. So let's start with example 7. Now, if you notice, no matter where I put my pencil, and I want you to understand that your graph is this upside down V, okay? This roof, basically. These two lines right here have nothing to do with the actual graph itself. These are just the axis, the X and Y axis, okay? So we are only looking at the little V and seeing if our ruler or your pencil will touch more than once. Okay, so only the V and the ruler. So start from the corner and move yourself towards the right. Nope, only once, 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 once. So this entire time, I could put any vertical line on this graph and I will only touch once. So this will be considered a function. Now, if you do the same thing for 8, it doesn't matter where, but I'm only touching once, okay? So I'll give you different examples. Let's say I drew vertical line there. I only touch once. What about here? Once. What about here? Once. I'm only touching once no matter where I put my ruler. So you see, these are all different examples of where I can put my ruler at, and it's always only touching once, 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 once. So it doesn't matter where, you're always touching once, and because you're only touching once, it will be a function. Okay? Now let's flip to the next page. Same idea here. What I want you to do is take a moment, pause the video, and do number 9 and number 10 by yourself. Okay? Number 9, the answer is a function because it only touches once with the ruler. Same thing for number 10. It's also a function. Now let me show you a couple examples of what it looks like when it's not a function. Well, if you put your ruler down, you notice that it's all good. It's good. It's only touching once, and then boom, we get here in this little loop. If I were to put my ruler right there, look at that. I'm touching twice at the same time. Look at that. There's my ruler, and look, there it is. It's touching twice. So it doesn't matter if I move this line over a little bit or I move it back. There's a lot of room where we can touch twice. And because it touches twice, that automatically means it's not a function. Well, let's try number 12. Well, right there, look at that. Let's say I put my ruler here, and there it is. I'm touching twice. There's my ruler, and look, I'm touching twice. There's my vertical line, and I'm touching twice, so that means it's not a function. Okay? Now, let's move on to number 9. Now this time we're talking about tables. Now tables, of course, are easy because all you have to do is look at the X column or the first column, or also known as the input column, and determine if all your X's are different. As soon as one of them repeats, it's considered not a function. So let's start with number 9. Are all your inputs different? Yep. It is all different, so it's a function. And because all X's are different. Okay, let's look at 10. 3, 4, 5, 5. Oop, there it is. 5 repeats twice. So as soon as it repeats, it's considered to be not a function. Okay? So if all the X's are different, it's a function. As soon as something repeats, it's not a function. Okay? Go ahead and pause the video for a second and do number 11 through 14 and determine whether each table is a function or not a function. Okay, for table A, it will be considered a function because all of your x's are different. Table B, it's not a function because the 20s repeat. Table C, it's not a function because the 10s repeat. And table D, it's not a function as well because the 40s repeat. Okay, so it's a function, not a function, not a function, not a function. Of course, if you have any further questions on today's lesson, please do not hesitate to ask me tomorrow in class.